There's so many things wrong with Prince Harry, from the easily verifiable lies to his all-word body language at any given moment. But the interview with Stephen Colbert sets a new milestone that represents everything that is toxic with society today, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and I have a couple questions for you. Would you be able to spot a sociopath at first sight? Or be able to deal with a bully when nobody else thinks he's a bully? Or know exactly what to express with your body language when you are nervous? I've made myself this kind of questions for decades, and I've spent all the time finding and applying the best answers to them. And right now you have the exclusive opportunity to own all the body language and behavior secrets that I've synthesized along my career with my Body Language and Persuasion Masterclass. My all-in-one online program that covers from body language to emotional intelligence to neuro-linguistic programming to negotiation and persuasion. But here's the kicker. When you access my masterclass, you will own not only all the content I've crafted in 20 years, you will also own all the content I will create in the future. And since I expect to live another 4 decades, that's a nice deal, right? Because this is my life's task. Help you awaken your awareness. And right now you have the unique opportunity to become my lifelong student at 98% discount. To seize the opportunity, just click the link in the description of this video. What you're about to see is a textbook example of how a narcissist reframes the situation, the circumstances, his life, and his interactions with you, so it seems like he is the victim, not only the victim, the one that is gonna save you from all the wrong that has been happening, that of course he is the protagonist of all that wrong that happened.
Hiding in some ways, I mean, hiding, I'm not going to accuse you and Megan of hiding, but removing yourself from the situation, this fantasy that you had of what your mother did is what you did. You removed yourself from the toxic situation.
Yeah. Notice something that we saw on my analysis, my previous analysis of the Anderson Cooper interview. Like, Colbert in this case is trying to, well, connect the fact that Harry at some point really believed that Diana was still alive and she was hiding somewhere and she was just waiting for the perfect moment to come back and appear again, and well, everything will be made right. So we see another way that Harry is connecting, with a little help from Colbert, the fact that he thought that Diana had withdrawn herself from the royal family with Megxit, like Meghan and Harry are some sort of soft withdrawal or hard withdrawal from the royal family because they wanted to, cut those toxic ties. And in this case, he's again trying to connect with that image that everyone has of Diana to his current situation, which, well, couldn't be more different.
Not before trying to make it work.
Yes.
Believe me, we tried, and we're still trying.
Notice the sequence of the dialogue. You remove yourself from the toxic situation. Harry looks upward, so has a moment of reflection. Yeah, not before trying to make it work. He says that immediately after, he laughs like, well, this is some kind of joke. Yes, believe me, we tried, and we are still trying. So you might have heard that he already said that there's no way that he's gonna come back as a working royal or as a senior royal or however he wants to call it. But he also wants to make it seem like he's still trying, they are still trying to make it work with the family. You tell me if the Oprah interview, if this book, if the Netflix horror documentary is trying to make it work with the family. So we are watching peak hypocrisy on our faces, and well, at least he can't look at Colbert in the eye when saying this. He lowered his eyes when saying we are still trying. And this is not Meghan that is commanding his words or controlling his speech. No, despite all the efforts they have made to distance themselves from the royal family and smear them, he wants people to believe that they are still trying to make amends with them. And of course, is the royal family, is them the ones who have to apologize. I've told you that this is peak narcissism and manipulation when everything is about me, and that I make it seem to the world in the most public way that I am a victim and I'm also the savior, as you're gonna see in the next clip.
That must have been hard to leave for someone who wants community so much, to leave the most intimate community, which is your family.
Yes, and the moment that I started doing therapy, it's like we started speaking a different language.
That you had a different emotional vocabulary than they were sharing.
It just became very, very different.
I'm sure you noticed that sudden rising of his chin. He lifted his chin in a bit of arrogance, and he's talking about, well, when I went to therapy, I began speaking a different language than my family, than the royal family. We spoke different language. That's a way of saying that I was better than them in these emotional matters. That is what his body language is projecting. I am above you in these emotional affairs. And when he says it just became very, very different, Harry has a smug face, which is not part of his baseline. This is not the way he usually speaks. But on the other hand, he has never spoken about this topic so upfront. Maybe we need the clues of the following clip.
Yeah, they couldn't understand me. And I was doing my best to try and encourage them to healing. But within that institution, there is a mindset. And I think it's really, really damaging and dangerous.
Notice the way he focuses the conversation in himself. You know, they wouldn't understand. They couldn't understand me. So I was speaking in a language that they couldn't understand. And I was doing my best to try and encourage them to healing. So he is basically projecting whatever William told him in his own words. He said that William told him, hey Harry, you have to talk to someone, you need some kind of therapy. And you remember all the charities and all the initiatives focused on mental health that Harry shared with William and Catherine, and he's acting like, well, I was beyond the royal family in this regard. I can understand that this is a moment that you can ask the question, how can someone speak in this way in public? And this is a circumstance that could be called like a massive enabling of your narcissistic behavior, because Harry looks, well, really confident about what he's saying at this moment. And, well, it must be the audience, it must be Colbert who is encouraging him to speak this way. It must be the setting. You know that the Colbert show is in a venue, is quite beautiful, and he's feeling like the protagonist, and he's saying, yeah, I am the one who was out to save my family, but they couldn't understand. This is the same scenario when someone says, yeah, I'm gonna talk, I'm gonna acknowledge my mistakes, and when they talk in public, it's totally different to what they promised you they weren't gonna say. He even has this like pushing gesture when he says encourage them to healing, has a pushing gesture with his hands, like, I'm trying to push them, but, well, they are like a bit thick. You know, he must be projecting at this moment. But within that institution, there's a mindset, and I think it's really, really damaging and dangerous. Again, I cannot vouch for what is the mindset inside the firm or the royal family. But what I can tell you is Harry's heavily projecting what he wants to see himself in this narrative, in his book, in real life.
It makes no sense for me to be able to expose and uncover all of this toxic relationship between the palace and the press if I know that someone else in my family is going to be the next target. Because if it's not Meghan and I, it's going to be someone else. A large reason of why I've written a book is because I want this to stop with me.
Notice again his body language. His chin is pointed a bit upward. He's quite arrogant, quite confident about what he's saying, and it makes no sense for me to be able to expose and uncover. He really thinks about himself as the savior. He's the savior of his family. He's the savior of the monarchy. He sees himself like that. Uncover all this toxic relationship between the palace and the press. Yeah, like he's like a British Edward Snowden. if I know that someone else in my family is going to be the next target, because if it's not Megan and I, then it's going to be someone else. And look at this gesture, what he does with his mouth.
Me is going to be the next target, because if it's not Megan and I, it's going to be someone else.
That one. It's like, losers, they don't know what they are doing. A smug gesture, a lot of contempt, like, I know what I'm doing. They don't know what they are doing. I don't know what Harry took for this interview, but it's working. A large reason why I've written the book is because I want this to stop with me. I understand that this can be hard to spot for some people, especially not when we see Harry, but when we see it closer to home. When we see it in a person that we have in high regard, or maybe we are in love with, or someone that we trust. And we don't see the signals that this person might have a problem with their self-image that is like out of control. And when I say out of control, is to the point of being delusional about what is their true identity and protagonism in this story. No, you are not the savior, but you're talking like the savior not only of the monarchy, but the whole UK. Now, in the next clip, notice how he is so condescending about Buckingham Palace or the firm, actually commenting or planting all these stories on the mainstream media, and he's saying, well, you're just telling yourselves.
The whole article is them commenting. And even today they're doing the same thing, so I don't know what to say at this point apart from you keep telling on yourselves.
See, he's talking like they are the fools and he is the one who knocks. But it's interesting that at this moment he has a sliver of uncertainty because his blink rate raises.
Telling on yourselves.
I guess what I'm asking is that, you were inside the system, therefore you know how the system works.
Yes, which is also terrifying for those people.
Yeah, this sounds like a born identity script. Therefore, you know how the system works, yes, and which is also terrifying for those people. He just said those people and gives again a smug and arrogant look. You tell me how to interpret this body language if not that he genuinely believes that he's the one in control. And I don't know about you, but someone in control doesn't need to talk about his frostbitten Dodger. I say that Harry represents all that is toxic with society today because you have this culture of being in the spotlight and saying whatever it means to be a victim first, and then, no, I'm not a victim. I was a victim. Now I am the savior of all you people. And this is despite all the inconsistencies and lies that we have found so far on his Mère de Moi, and more to come, rest assured. That's why it's so important to learn how to spot these toxic personalities and especially how to neutralize them. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and remember to download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. Much love and bliss.